GBC body member of ISKCON Bangalore. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Om Jnanatimrandasya Jnananjanachalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam. If we go to any airport or railway station or bus stand, you will always find there will be a bookshop there. Now, there will be so many shops selling all kinds of things. There will be one shop selling some food stuff, some other shop selling some other items, but you will also find bookstalls. In airports, especially if you go, you'll find a lot of shops selling all kinds of things, perfumes, handbags, and one bookshop will always be there. You look at an e-commerce place, like for example, you go to Amazon. Amazon, you go, you'll have multiple varieties of things to buy. Everything under the sun you will get there. You will also get books. It may be e-books or hard copy books, whatever, you will get there also. Wherever you go in this world, it is not difficult to find a place selling books. Why? Because since the beginning of creation, humankind has always engaged in a quest for knowledge. Seeking knowledge is innate to human beings. You may not find it amongst animals. Animals also seek knowledge. Prabhupada gives the example. Early morning, when sunrise happens, what will you hear? You will hear all kinds of birds chirping, if you have an area where there is a lot of greenery. Even here also, we can hear in the morning, but here we can hear only crows. If you go to some place like Vrindavan, you will hear mynas, you will hear baya weavers, all kinds of birds. In the morning, it will be a cacophony. All kinds of birds making noise. What noise are they making? They are all asking questions. They are all seeking knowledge. What knowledge are they seeking? Sunrise has come. Where will we find our food today? In this material world, when we look at the knowledge sought by animals, it will be in the field of 4 activities: eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Human beings have an ability to ask questions beyond this. Unfortunately, in today's world, if you look at the proliferation of books, news, media, the electronic media, the print media, all of them are disseminating knowledge. Why? Because why does the media thrive? Why do the television channels thrive? News channels, why do they thrive? Because they are catering to the demand people want to know. Today, 4 states in India have gone for election. What are the results? Who has won? Everybody wants to know. Everybody is asking this question. This seeking of knowledge is there even in the human beings. All kinds of questions human beings also ask. But ultimately, if you distill all those questions that the human beings ask today, when you look at newspapers, you look at media, you look at movies, you look at television channels, you look at all kinds of books, fiction books. There will be non-fiction books. There will be books on philosophy. There will be books on motivational aspects, etc., etc. All kinds of subjects. If you distill what they are all saying, it will eventually boil down to the same 4 activities of eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Therefore, seeking knowledge in these 4 fields is not really going to benefit us, because animals are already doing that. If we limit our seeking of knowledge to these 4 fields of eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, then we are no better than animals. If we look at the Bhagavad Gita in the 4th chapter, in the 10th verse, Lord Krishna says that Vitaraga bhayakrodha manmaya mamupashritaha bahavo jnana tapasa puta madbhavamagataha. Krishna is saying, many people in the past, bahavaha, many people in the past, jnana tapasa, they undertook the austerity of cultivating knowledge. Any knowledge we want in this material world, it requires austerity. If you want knowledge, how to become a good doctor, you have to go to a college, 5 years you have to spend there, you have to study, you have to write the exam, you have to attend the classes. In your youth, in the prime of your youth, you are in your 20s, what would you like to do at that time? You want to go with a girlfriend, go to some pub, go to some movie, that's what you like to do. But you have to sacrifice that and come and attend classes. Tapasya. Without tapasya, without austerity, knowledge cannot come. Now Krishna is saying jnana tapasya. So any jnana you want, you have to undertake austerity. And Krishna is saying there is one kind of jnana tapasa, which if you undertake that, puta, people will become purified. Purified of what? Purified of this constant searching after eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. You will forget it. This is the purification that will happen. And therefore, vitaraga bhayakrodha, you will become free from attachment, you will become free from aversion, and you will become free from fear, you will become free from anger. These things, these aspects of fearfulness, of anger, of attachment, aversion, all these things arise when we seek after eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. When anybody pursues these 4 things, their hearts will be filled with this. Their hearts will be filled with fear. I got something for my eating, sleeping, and mating, and defending. Where I will lose it. And then your heart will get filled with anger. I don't have this facility for eating, sleeping, and mating, and defending, and this fellow is enjoying all these things. How can he enjoy what I don't have? Anger will come. And there is also attachment. All these nice circumstances I have made, I've taken my insurance, I've got my job, I have got my saving, all the investments, all these things, so that my eating, sleeping, mating, defending goes on very comfortably. Attachment. And aversion. We have aversion to anything which will disturb this. Some problem happens, some disease comes, some other situation like heavy rains or flooding happens. We are averse to all this. Oh, we don't want such situations. We try to avoid these kind of situations which will disturb our activities of eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. You see how if we engage in if the center of our life is these 4 activities, our hearts will become filled with fear, it will become filled with anger, it will become filled with aversion, and it will become filled with attachment. And Krishna is saying, Vitaraga bhayakrodha manmaya mamupashritaha bahavo jnana tapasa puta. There is one kind, so all the jnana tapasya that you undertake in this material world, you try to become a doctor, you want to become an engineer, you want to become a lawyer, you want to become an environmentalist, you want to become a politician. You can cultivate knowledge in all these fields. But none of them will give you freedom from attachment, aversion, anger, and fear. If you want your consciousness and your existence to be purified of these things, if your heart has to become free from these things and your heart has to become filled with happiness and peace. Then, what is required? There is one kind of jnana tapasya you undertake which will purify you of these negative things and your heart will become filled with happiness and satisfaction. And what is that jnana tapasya? That jnana tapasya, Krishna is saying that it has to be manmaya mam upashritaha. We have to surrender to Krishna and we have to be fully absorbed in Krishna. Krishna is saying, being freed from attachment, fear and anger, being fully absorbed in me and taking refuge in me. We have to cultivate that knowledge which will lead us to the shelter of Krishna, which will lead us to the surrender of Krishna. When we surrender to Krishna and we become absorbed in always thinking of Krishna's pastimes, His qualities, His instructions, etc., then what happens? Then our existence becomes purified. We become freed from attachment, aversion, anger, all these, and fearfulness, and then only when we become free from these things, we can experience real happiness and peace of mind. And then Krishna says, it doesn't stop there. Becoming peaceful and becoming satisfied is not the end. You will go further. Puta madbhavamagataha. We will achieve the transcendental love for Krishna. Therefore, we have to understand that knowledge is very highly regarded. The most important thing for our purification is knowledge. What kind of knowledge? That knowledge which will lead us to surrender to Krishna and which will provide us the shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. Now that kind of knowledge, where will we get? If you go to a university, if you go to college, there are so many universities, colleges, institutions which are distributing knowledge. There are universities in India, there are institutions abroad, and you go to the United States, there is Stanford University, there is Harvard University, there is MIT, and you go to England, there is Oxford University. Everywhere in the world you go, there will be institutions disseminating knowledge. Now where will you go to get the knowledge by which you can surrender to Krishna? None of these universities or institutions supposedly giving knowledge can give you the knowledge which will give you shelter of lotus feet of Krishna. If you want to develop surrender to Krishna and you want to develop that knowledge which will purify your existence, then the only way is you have to approach a pure devotee who is the repository of such knowledge. And that pure devotee who possesses that knowledge which can purify us, puta madbhavamagataha, which will lead us ultimately to develop transcendental love for Krishna, that is available only with a pure devotee, which is Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada, as an acharya, he has done the most compassionate work to publish books. If you see any acharya, the prime duty of an acharya is to transmit this transcendental knowledge. Starting from Vyasadeva. Even Vyasadeva, who is the topmost acharya, who is the one who has given all the Vedic scriptures, even he wrote down, put all the Vedic scriptures in writing. What was the intention? The intention was whoever follows this will ultimately come to the point of surrender to Krishna. Vedavyasa was a great saint, he was a great rishi, he was a great sage. What was the need for him to take the trouble of writing all this literature, all the Vedas, Puranas, Upanishads, Vedanta Sutras, the Mahabharata? What was the need for him to write? There was no need. He was thinking of the welfare of the people. How the people can be purified. How the people who are suffering in this material world and they are lost in the mire of eating, sleeping, mating and defending, how to pull them out, how to save them. How to save them from the ocean of repeated birth, death, disease and old age. This was Vedavyasa's thinking. And so being imbued with that compassion which is flowing down from Krishna himself, Vedavyasa wrote down the vast Vedic literature. The example is set by Vedavyasa himself. That any Acharya who comes, an Acharya descends into this world to liberate the souls and take them back to Godhead, to purify them of these materialistic tendencies. Srila Prabhupada also, following in the footsteps of Vedavyasa, he also wrote and he published vast literature. Now, Vedavyasa, after writing all the Vedic literature, what did he do? He wrote down, put everything, Mahabharata, Vedas, Puranas, everything he wrote down, Upanishads, Vedanta Sutras, and he nicely packed them and kept them in the cupboard, put it under lock and key. No. What did he do? He called different rishis, Gautama and all these people, he called all of them, and to each of them, Gautama, Angirasa, Pulaha, all these people, and all these disciples, he called them, entrusted them with each of them with one branch of knowledge of the Vedic scriptures. And he told them, now you go and disseminate this knowledge. You spread this knowledge amongst the common masses of people. Prabhupada, what did he do? He wrote the commentaries on the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Krishna book. Prabhupada wrote the entire commentary to the Bhagavatam. He wrote the Ishopanishad, commentary to the Ishopanishad. Apart from that, so many volumes of books Prabhupada published. And what did he do? Did he keep them all nicely bound, safely packed and under lock and key? No. He gave them to his disciples and told them, distribute. Prabhupada is also following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. All acharyas do this. Why? Because this is what Krishna wants. Krishna, after giving the knowledge, entire knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, at the end, what did he tell Arjuna? He told Arjuna, whoever distributes this knowledge, he becomes very dear to me. Na me kaschin priyakrittamaha. There is nobody dearer to me than one who distributes this knowledge. And all acharyas, whether it is Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Vedavyasa, Prabhupada, all of them, who are they? They are confidential servants of Krishna. And they are coming here with the sole intention of pleasing Krishna. And because the most pleasing thing for Krishna is to spread the knowledge, therefore Vedavyasa also engaged all his disciples in spreading the knowledge. Prabhupada is also engaging all his disciples in spreading the knowledge. And therefore Prabhupada said, if you have to really please Prabhupada, we have to distribute his books. And therefore, we are observing this December month as December and January, we will be observing 2 months as the book distribution marathon month, where we place special emphasis on distributing Prabhupada's books. And by doing this, we will be able to please Prabhupada to a great extent. The more books we distribute, the more the knowledge is spread, the more pleased Prabhupada is, and if Prabhupada is pleased, Krishna is pleased. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasadaha. Therefore, if we want our heart to be purified, puta madbhavamagataha, and we want to develop love for Krishna, and we want to develop this tapasya of jnana, which will make me vitaraga bhayakrodha, then what we have to do? We have to distribute the books of Prabhupada. So, therefore, all of us should take this book distribution marathon very seriously, and we should try to reach the books of Prabhupada to as many souls as possible, and we will get the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we will get the kripa of Prabhupada, by which our hearts can get purified. Not only that, all those people who get the books, they will also get benefited, they will also get an opportunity to render devotional service to Krishna and purify himself. So, I take this opportunity to commend all of you devotees who have assembled here today, and all of those who are going to further come and join this endeavor to distribute Prabhupada's books in these coming 2 months to the maximum possible extent according to our capacity and ability. And by this activity, we can all together please Prabhupada and Krishna, and this will energize your spiritual life and bring more and more people in touch with Prabhupada's movement. So, with these few words, I'll stop here. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.